Thanks for checking back in. My name is Wolfie, and today I have the fabulous Rebel Fitness, also known as Ellen, who happens to be my cousin. But we're here to speak about Ellen's amazing business and how she started Rebel Fitness, which, if you haven't got by the name, is a PT slash fitness business. So we're here to discuss Ellen's amazing 3 years. They're coming up on their birthday soon. So we're going to have a quick chat about that. If you want to give yourself a wee introduction, Ellen, and tell us all about you.
Yeah, sure. So I have never done one of these before, so I'm a little bit nervous, not gonna lie. Obviously I am Ellen. I decided to launch Rebel Fitness sitting on my couch in the middle of lockdown. I'd gotten really into fitness a few years before, then all the gyms closed down, and I realized how much I missed it. And I started doing a PT course, and I turned to my partner and was like, I think I'm going to start a mobile gym, and here we are 3 years later, and we have our own premises. So yeah, it's been fun.
I mean, it definitely has. When I remember when you first kind of had publicly put it out that you had started the gym, and obviously at the time, as you said, it was a mobile fitness journey. Like, obviously, you're a PT that would go to people's premises, and that's the whole point of mobile. You just mentioned, obviously, you have your own premises now. I remember when you first started, and like on social media, and like to see the growth that you've gone through, as a person, but also as a business, since you started. Because I remember being there in the early days, and like I'm not going to say I was one of your first client, but I was one of your first clients to do it. And obviously, I was trying to help with social media back then. But as we previously discussed before recording the podcast, I was preoccupied with a few issues that we got help with. Um, but yeah, no, like it's been amazing to have a look at the journey of what you've done and how it started. And so, like, with that, as you said, look, you've currently got a location, you have a premises now, so you're no longer a mobile gym. Do you want to kind of just give a bit of a background on how it kind of worked when you were doing the mobile end of it? Like, so how that worked with
Yeah,
people. Obviously, you mentioned it was during COVID. I know myself, that was kind of one of the main reasons at the time when you'd reached out to me to kind of work with you as my PT. Like, it was amazing because you couldn't go places, and it was so handy during COVID. And I even know, obviously, some of our family members have used it. I know my mum at one point was with you
yeah,
as well, and it really worked for her because she wouldn't go to a gym. So if you just want to give kind of the pros and cons to how the mobile end of it worked, and how it's kind of easier now that you have the actual premises to work from.
yeah, 100%. So when I first started it, we were online because obviously we couldn't go anywhere or do anything. And the mobile side of it, once restrictions started to lift slightly,
Hmm.
I could do workouts outside and things like that, or you could have a certain amount of people in your house or things like that. So while you still couldn't get to a gym, you could do the training that way.
Hmm.
Another massive reason why I had come up with the original idea of a mobile gym was because some people, myself included, especially at the start of your journey, are so self conscious. Like, the last thing you want to do is walk into a busy gym
Hmm.
when you don't know what exercises to do, you don't know how to use the equipment, you feel like you don't look the way you should to be there. And even though 9 times out of 10 it's all in your head that people are like giving you the vibe that you shouldn't be there, you still feel that way. So when I started it, I thought, okay, if we do this and we go to their houses, then you are a little bit more comfortable at the start. You get to take those steps.
Hmm.
And we kept that as well when I first started doing classes. So a lot of people would do mobile PTs, and once they were more comfortable, we'd move them into the class setting. Obviously, once they wanted
Yeah.
to, and then from the class setting, they could get to know other people. But they had that first initial, like, okay, well, how do I do the things? I'm actually able to do this, this, and this. It might not be the same version. It might have been a broken down version
Hmm.
of a burpee or a lower impact version, but you still were able to do it. So if I called it out in a class, you're not standing there going, "Well, I can't do that." But yeah, so we started there and then moved into classes afterwards. So
Perfect. And I remember that as well because as I remember when I first started with you, like, have you any injuries, Stephen? And I was like, yes, Ellen, here is a list of things that I have hurt over the years. And it's that thing as well. You kind of tailored, and I'm sure you still do this, obviously, having the premises and working with people. in Rebel Fitness in Novena, like when you're in there, you tailor everything to each client. Because I was like, yeah, so I can do this, but I can't do that. And I suppose that's the kind of difference when you do go to a gym. I found that myself. I've been to gyms for years, like with my ex partner and stuff like that, like bodybuilders and stuff. Like, you know, you have a set, you're going in, you're doing this. People don't feel comfortable. But I think that's the
Mm-mm.
difference with what you've set up. Obviously, going from the mobile and then obviously bringing them out to the classes. I don't think a lot of people were doing that. A lot of gyms were just closing and they weren't
Yeah,
really like, yes, some PTs were smart about it, and I think that's where the industry has kind of seen the change. PTs have realized that, you know, first of all, they can work anywhere. They can work on the other side of the world. And I'm sure both of us know a few people from our hometown that obviously living across the world now and are PTs and are making a mint. And they get to
yeah,
live the lavish life. But it's that side that you kind of seen that there was a gap in the market, that, like, you know, that mobile end of it, then you've now got a base clientele that you have had because you started them out. And they may never have went to the gym. They may have never started their journey, but only because you had offered that at the start. It's obviously something, and I suppose that kind of fosters a community as well. So people be like, oh no, like it's really easy to go to Ellen and to Rebel Fitness, and it's a really big community. Because I know when I used to go to the gym, unless I had someone there with me, as you said, I was like, that person's looking at me, and I'm not meant to be
yeah,
here. And it's just, I suppose it's a kind of a, not to be mean, but it's like a bro culture sometimes in some gyms. And a lot of gyms have changed and changed their policies and stuff like that to make it different. But I think that's the main kind of point that I've seen. And especially because obviously when you post on social media about like the challenges you do, and even just from the gym itself, you can really see that you have fostered that community around people, and everyone's there to support each other. And like you will see in a video like that, everyone's doing the same thing, but all different versions of it, because not everyone's the same. And I think that's the main thing that's kind of missing in the industry. Now, obviously, you did say that obviously you were lucky enough to get your premises. Obviously, you'd worked
mhm,
mobile, you were doing obviously the home visits, and then obviously stuff out and about when the restrictions lifted. How did you
yeah.
see a difference from when it was, you know, during the times of COVID? Because I don't know if we're allowed to say that word, Ellen. I'm not allowed to say it on any other social media platforms that I'm on, so we'll just pretend that that word doesn't exist. But did you see a change in when obviously everything lifted? Was there a boom in the business? Was
Yeah.
there a drop off?
So when everything lifted, the mobile side of it kind of dropped
Hmm.
altogether. People wanted to kind of get back to some form of normality.
Okay.
So that's when we started doing the classes. Richie Ivory, Jiu Jitsu.
Hmm.
I had started training there and he let me rent his room in the mornings because most of his classes are like mid morning up,
Yeah.
whereas I'm like 6, 7 in the morning. So we started doing classes there, and we had a good few people coming to those classes, but and it was amazing to start there, and it was amazing to work with Richie as well because he was like a really good mentor to me. Like he's taught me so
Hmm.
much about this industry. But then when we moved to Nevena and we had our own premises and our own equipment. Now, when we moved there, like we had 4 pieces of equipment,
Gotta
like
start
because I
somewhere, girl.
wasn't. Yeah, we got there and we had a load of dumbbells. We had 2 squat racks, and the equipment that the Nevena people had left there, the committee had left there first, which was like a lat pull down and a multi press machine, and that was it. Like, and we started doing classes in the morning and in the evenings then, and we'd close in the middle of the day, and like the difference was pretty instant. And I've been saying it to Larry for, I don't know, maybe 6 months before we moved. I was like, I'm telling you, if we get our own place, things are going to be busier.
Hmm.
We'll And like we were busy for one person, you know, like when you're driving around all those places, it takes that extra time as well. But when we got the premises, like it was mad. Now the first initial 2 months, madness, and then it kind of dropped off because you're
Yeah.
not as new anymore. And then we had gone in there in the July, in the January after that, everything changed. So about a year and a half ago, and since then it hasn't stopped. It's been amazing. Like, and I'm really really lucky to say this. I'm gonna touch wood. Most people that walk into our door stay.
Yeah.
And I can't even turn around and say, oh, that's because I'm really good at my job. It's because it's such like the clients that walk into those doors are 9 out of 10 of them have never been in a gym before. the ones that have had a really shitty experience. And so when they walk in here, they're timid and unsure, and then might start with personal training, and then they'll go into the classes. But like then they're all friends, and they're all having a crack, and they're meeting outside of it, and like for Christmas parties or summer parties, like everyone comes, but they don't just come themselves; they come with their kids and their partners. It's like I'm really really grateful for the people that I have around me in that gym. Like they make you want to do better for them, you know. It's and you get so invested in their goals as well. Like I'd say sometimes I'm like, okay, well we're gonna do this and we're gonna do this, and they're like, okay, and I just said I wanted to, run 2K, and I've got them running a marathon.
You're
Like
like, and your marathon is next month. I've booked her for you
yeah,
already, and there's one in Portugal next year also.
exactly,
But I do
exactly.
think you need to realize, Ellen, yes, like obviously that community is there now, but the reason that community is there is because you gave them the space. Like, yes, the people there make it and stuff like that. Like, you're my cousin. I've known you all my life. You need to take kudos where kudos is due. Like, you've created that space for people to feel comfortable, and you've made people want to come back. And that's the thing. I've followed obviously your journey and the business and seeing it boom. And there's people that started with you day one are still there, and you can see them
Yeah,
obviously, and look, they may not be as a big part of it anymore because they've gone through their fitness journey, and they just go to the gym now because it's their gym and they feel comfortable. But like you have to pat yourself on the back for that. Like, yes, I know you've had help and people around you are supporting you, but like, you went ahead and did this, no one else. Like, it's you that did it. Like, so be proud of yourself. Like, you're coming up on your third year, like it's your third birthday. Like, usually businesses, look, I work in the business end of stuff, usually crash in the first year and a half. You're coming up on year three, and like you're
yeah.
booming. And do you know what it was in January that kind of boosted? Look, we all know new year, new me kind of situation, but like you've said, it's still
That
happening. Like, do you think there's just
yeah.
an uptake in people are like knowing more about the business? Is the social media end of it, or what do you think's happening?
I'm not really sure. See, when we moved into Nevena, obviously our outgoings went up because we hadn't had to really consider rent or anything like that in the meantime. So in the November, December, even though I had people that were still like there, no one was really coming to classes. The way it gets to before
Of
Christmas, right?
course.
And I was sitting on my couch being like, nah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's too hard. We just bought a house, which we had no money in. And I was like, oh, it's just not worth it. I'll go get a real job. It'll be fine. Like, and he turned around and goes, just hold out, please. Give it another few weeks. And that January, people knew we were there
Hmm.
because it obviously takes time. And when like, I'm not someone who really enjoys social media,
Hmm.
so I find it quite hard to follow the trends and post the correct things and do all that. So like, I'm trying to let people know that we were there. Even I was like struggling to let people know we were there. And then through word of mouth, that's how in because I ask every client that starts that, I'm like, okay, well, why did you pick us? Because there's so many gyms in Gory, like
Yeah.
why are we the ones that won? Do you know? Like and because there's so many that have different things. Like if you go to the stables, like they have DECA and they have high rocks training and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like peaks, they're going to Everest, and
Hmm.
like there's so many amazing gyms in Gory. So like I wanted to know what sense, and it's always like, oh well, this person said they came here and they really liked it, and it's just word of mouth. That is 100% what happened that January. And the more then that people were coming in and being like, okay, well this is kind of cool in here, and it's such a lovely lovely place to be. Like I've myself walked into gyms and been like, I don't belong here. Like,
Hmm.
and I feel like our gym, and this is not an insult to any person that goes to it or even to myself, but I feel like our gym is like that comforting place that you walk in and people are instantly like, hi, how are you? My name is. Do you know what I mean? And they're asking you where you work. Like it's not like, they're standing and everyone's staring at the ground and no one wants to make eye contact. Like there's no clicks or anything like that. Everyone's just there to do, and they're cheering you on. Like one at Max Week is this week, So you go in, you do your 3 compound lifts, and you try and lift heaviest.
Hmm.
And like everyone's standing around cheering each other on, clapping. Like there's no competition either. Like it's not like they want you to do well,
Yeah, it's
even if
support.
it means you're, yeah, even if it means they're lifting a little bit heavier than you or something. You're like, well, fair play, do you know.
And that's the
I have
thing.
no idea if I answered the right
No, you
question
did.
there.
You did. That's, and you can see that like from what you post on your socials as well. Like, so I will link Rebel Fitness's Instagram and all that stuff. Ellen, also when I was doing some research for our episode, obviously look, we are related, so I've known about the business for a very long time. But while doing some research, Ellen also has now got an app as well. So you have linked with a brand that you now have your own branding for an app. Which do you want to go into a little bit on how that helps you? Because I know doing obviously the personal kind of stuff for each client can be a lot of work. Has the app kind of hindered that or bettered it for you? Because obviously it's probably all set up in that and then you just like input what you need to. But that could also be me talking stupid. But you know, you'll know more.
No, no, no. So it definitely has. Like, we have an open gym policy in our gym as well. So, like, you know, the way for most personal training studios, it is open between 6 and 10, and then like 7 and, or, you know, like 5 and 9
Hmm.
in the evening, in the middle of the day, there's nothing there. So we leave that open now, and people can come in and use the open gym, which means they can come in and use our free weights. And they do their own workout like a commercial gym,
Hmm.
but we're and there's just someone in the room with them. Like, we're not telling them what to do. We're not doing anything like that. But we only allow 6 people in at a time,
Hmm.
so it's not like. But what we've done, because we were using the app for our own clients for their programming, we now do the same with our open gym clients. So it's given us a whole new like revenue stream,
Yeah.
because we wouldn't have been able to do that before. Like, so I can program based on, so like the online thing that I was doing with you before,
Yeah.
except now they can follow the videos. Like Aoife and Larry, because I hate being in front of the camera. Aoife and Larry are, or they hate me, but I
Ellen's back
record
with the
them.
camera.
Yeah, I record them doing the workouts, and then like we edit it all together. So like I'll have, say, Larry doing the harder version, Aoife doing the easier version. So
Hmm.
you'll have both options. And when you do that exercise, if you're unsure of what to do, you click into it and you see a real person that you know who can sometimes train you doing those exercises. It's been a massive, massive help. And like we did that one through Kahuna's, and we branded it with our Rebel Fitness, and then we also have our own booking app with Legit Fit.
Nice one.
So Legit Fit, every gym in Gorey uses Legit Fit for their booking, and because of that, every time you go into it as a customer, you'll have multiple different gyms, because most people do change from gym to gym.
Yeah.
So you're unsure then whose class you're booking a lot of the time. And I found, like, I think branding is massively important. Like, we all wear uniforms. Every video I post has some form of a Rebel Fitness logo in
Hmm.
there, because it's the business itself.
Yeah.
Like, so for both of our apps, then that was a massive thing. If you go into the your app store on your phone and write in Rebel Fitness booking, our logo comes up, and you get to link in and see what our timetable is and our memberships are, and it has all our colors, and it's a more personal experience then. Like, you know, like, it's, you see what we're like
Hmm.
just from that little app, you know, because we get to make it ours rather than everyone having the same thing.
And that's the thing. Like, I remember when you first started the business, obviously, because I've been on social media, as we were discussing before we started recording. I've been on social media for donkey's years at this stage. That's the one thing I remember saying to you is like branding is key. And like you from the outset, even before I had that conversation with you, had the brand down. You knew what you wanted it to be. You'd picked your coloring. I have one of the hoodies. Just want to say that I was like one of the first people to get them. Definitely the family that live at home were, but still, I got one up in Dublin. But yeah, no, that is the fact, like that everything is branded to you. But then you have that other side of it as the personal. So you may not do the mobile gym anymore, but you're giving them that option as well with the app when they're if even if they're not coming to the gym that day, they can do it at home because they
Yeah.
have the video there. And look, I'm the same. I don't tend to be on camera anymore. Like I do live streaming and stuff like that where I'm gaming, where it's a bit of fun. But I'm very like you. If I'm doing something for social media, someone else is there. But that's the other side of it
Yeah.
as well. You get to keep your anonymity at the end of the day. You are the brand owner, you are the gym owner and stuff like that. So like you have the business end of it. And that's why with brands, it's always like great to you can be the front facing person if you're that way inclined, but it's also great because you can deal with more business stuff behind the scenes then. And that's
Mm.
the other side of it. Like,
I also think in our current, like in the industry that I'm in, that a lot of times it's not the clients that are the main focus, it's the coaches.
hmm
And like, I don't know, like as my journey is my journey, and if I want to put, but like they're coming in to do their journey. Like it's about them. It's not about me. It's not about like if I want to post something about me, I'll be like putting it up or whatever. I'm not saying I have nothing against that, but like if you go on to our Instagram page or our Facebook page, all you see is
yeah.
clients. And I find that I get way more engagement that way as well. Like it wasn't intentional at the start, it was just me hiding. But like when you see another person that you know going to that class, you're like, okay, well if they can do it, then maybe I could do it with them. And then you're more likely to join that person. And then you like then your little community grows and another person that's kind of like I think it's a lot of like-minded people
hmm
joined together, and I think that that personal touch of my clients being there, and obviously they get to pick whether or not they want to be on the pictures. Do you know what I mean? I'd never post anything without anyone's okay,
hmm
but like their journeys then inspire someone else. Do you know, like when I started losing weight and doing all the things that I was doing back then, I I probably spent 4 hours deciding whether or not I was going to post a picture. Do you
hmm
know what I mean about it? And then I did it, and then I just moved on past it, and now it's about them. Do you know what I mean? So I got to hopefully inspire one person or two people, and then there. So it's like a little waterfall, or
Yeah,
I don't
most
know.
definitely a
One
waterfall
person
of
does it,
yeah.
and then the next, and then it's not just oh well they're a coach, so that's why it works. Do you know they're a real person, and they're working really hard, and they should get the clap on the back for it.
Of course, and I completely agree with you like on that because look, I know quite a few people that are in the PT industry, and just from like people being on social media, a lot of the industry it is. I suppose there's two reasons you get into the fitness industry and into coaching and stuff like that as a PT. It's for you or it's for the person you're doing it for, and I suppose a lot of the big people out there tend to I've seen some very, very big ones, Ellen, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, that are because they base everything on the person that they're working with. It's not them. They literally just post videos. This is what I do. This is obviously a person that's gone through it and everything like that. And then you'll find that there's other people who are like, oh well, like I did this and look at me and this is the photo of me posing and stuff like that. That's real inspirational. I've suffered with body dysmorphia all my life. I would have discussed it in the first podcast I released. I have an eating disorder. I'm also a recovering addict. So I had like 101 things against me. Seeing that kind of stuff on social media doesn't help. But seeing the normal person that you know from down home or your friend from across the road going into a gym and not looking perfect like every other one on Instagram, it really does foster that kind of love for, oh, I feel like I might be accepted there. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all have our issues. And sometimes I think with gyms and with PTs, it's kind of like it's mainly a focus on the person. I'm like, well, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. It's like me within work, like with, management and stuff like that. Like you can tell when a manager is doing it for the money and when a manager is doing it for their staff. It's the
Yeah,
exact same in PT, like, because you have to want to do it for the person you're training. Like your story is amazing, and if you want to share a little bit on that, Ellen, you can. It's up to yourself. But like, I think how you have garnered the following you have and the support. Like my other cousin Natalie is mad into
that's it.
fast fit. The throwing weights up and down. I think they're all crazy. Y'all are mad for fitness, and I'm like, I walk my dog. Um, but like she is always singing your praises and stuff like that. So it's like not even that, like, but that's two separate sides of the family. You're on mom's side and Natalie's on dad's side. But like you're known down at home for being such an open, friendly gym and this safe space for people to go in. Like, and I don't know if obviously you probably don't hear that a lot because like you're not going out asking for compliments, but like people
No.
do, and like that's how you've got where you are. But like you need to remember at the end of the day, you created this, and it was you. Yes, Larry's helped, yes, Aoife's helped, but like you had the idea, you went with it. You could, as you said, you could have quit. You didn't,
Yeah.
and look where you are now. Like,
Yeah.
and like if it's up to yourself, you don't have to obviously kind of go into like your own journey in regards to fitness and weight, like and stuff like that. Is up to
Yeah.
yourself if you
Yeah.
wanna.
So, from probably the minute I hit puberty, I gained weight. And as a girl, you know yourself, it's pretty instant, and you're quite young, and all the hormones are there, and you don't want to deal with it. And if I had have ran or done sports or done something, probably would have been different. But as a hormonal and emotional girl, I was like, well, I'm not going and doing any of those things. I hated sports, absolutely hated it. I hated PE. I probably didn't go to a PE class or was constantly unwell during PE for
Mm-hmm.
most of my secondary school life. Yeah, I had no interest in it whatsoever. And then when I was in my early 20s, I was a size 18 to 20 at that point, and I was shockingly unhappy, but I was also really unwell all of the time. My immune system was on the floor. I wasn't able to, like, my immune system just, it wasn't in a good place. So I started trying to eat better
Mm-hmm.
and walk more places, and then I got glandular fever for like the third time, which who knew you could get that more than once.
No.
Um, but I got that for the third time, and I had no voice for probably 6 to 8 months. Like I sounded like I smoked 75,000 fags a day. Like it was actually brutal. But because I couldn't eat or do a whole lot, I started dropping loads of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt super guilty because I was like, oh well, I didn't deserve to lose any of that. I didn't earn it. I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And like, if you have any body issues, you know yourself, anything changes in it, it creates even bigger body issues. So then I was like, well, I have to earn this. So I started going to the gym and I started eating better. And would you believe I wasn't as sick? It's mad how that works.
Yeah,
But yeah,
no.
so I started to get better. My immune system started to do better. I was in a better place. My skin was better. And then lockdown happened, and I know for a lot of people that was the worst time in the world. And I'm not saying that it was a great thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds really, really bad, but it gave me the, because like I was working in hospitality, but I was working crazy shifts, and you know it's really hard to manage the gym and all those things at the same time. And I didn't know whether I could get a handle on my eating or anything like that. Like yourself, I have an eating disorder. So like I didn't know how to manage everything. And then when I had nowhere to be and nothing to do, it gave me the chance to be like, okay, well I can figure this out. So I was able to work out and do all of those things. And not last year, but the year before, I was probably at my leanest. And then I went and tried to buy a house and start a business, and you know, things
Life happens.
fluctuate, and you manage your emotions by eating. But the gym has never changed for me. Like I was really sick last year, so I had to stop training.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, I love lifting heavy things. I love how strong I feel. I love that I can show other people how strong they can feel. I also love that especially in our gym or in any gym, you do not have to look a certain way. I think we put so much pressure on ourselves to have a six pack, and like 9 out of 10 of the people that are you see on social media with a six pack, it took them a shocking amount of time to get that. They had it for all of those pictures that you see that were probably taken on the exact same day while they were dehydrated,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go back to normal life. And like, and that's not saying that they're not lean or strong or happy after that, but they don't look that shredded. Like, and we have this idea in our heads that that's how you're supposed to look. I will say the only thing about like my job that I don't like, and it's completely me that's done that to myself, is the pressure I feel to look a certain way. So as a personal trainer, you are your business. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like you should look lean and strong and all that. But sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes it's too hard to manage a business and a house and like so other people do it with kids. Like but I think fitness, when it's your priority, it can be the most amazing thing in the world, but it can also overtake everything. So it's trying to find that healthy balance. And I'm delighted to say at the moment, I find that I'm at that healthy balance where like I can go into the gym and I can enjoy it.
Hmm.
I can eat the foods I want to eat without feeling guilty. I can help the people I want to help feel like, they are the strongest, fittest versions of themselves. And I get to try all these mad things that like other people don't get to do. Do you know what I mean? Like I do kickboxing and I've tried jujitsu and like these are all things that like I never would have done before I became a PT. Being a personal trainer has changed me massively. Like it's given me a lot more confidence to do things. Like I've done Hell and Back twice now. Um, the second time was unreal. Like we ran most of it. I was the fittest I'd ever been. It was so much crack. If you'd have told me the 10-year-old me that that's what I was going to be doing when I was hitting my 30s, I'd have laughed at you. Like it's absolute madness. But like I do love what I do. It's the best thing in the world, and I wouldn't have it if I hadn't have been overweight for most of my teenage years. So
And I think that's the other side of it as well. And it comes across that like, I know people who do PT and they've never had a struggle with their body. Yeah, they may suffer from body dysmorphia. And that's one thing I suppose we can kind of talk about as well. That's not just something people who are overweight or underweight deal with. That is just generally something like, obviously, the both of us have eating disorders. So it's a little bit different. And like, obviously, you mentioned the overactiveness as well. Like, with my ED and my addictions, I used to, as a kid, over exercise. So I could exercise for 4 hours. So I completely understand what you mean when you say you're at that nice plateau level where you can go to the gym and enjoy it. That's like me now. I can work out and I can walk the dog, but I won't do it to an extent. That is the other side of, I suppose, the industry that people may not be aware of as well. Like that, like most PTs do struggle with body dysmorphia or like their own image. And like the other side of it as well, you mentioned not like feeling that you have to be on point always. I think that's an industry issue because, as you said, and I'm well aware of that, I know people who like model and stuff like that. They're dehydrated. They haven't eaten for 12 hours for that photograph. It's all doctored and then it's edited. You don't tell me, like, I work in social media and I have my own social media following and stuff like that, and I post those. We edit photos. They may not like move the ab or anything, but I can very much move the shadowing and the lighting up and make my abs look better. Now I don't currently have abs. I have a keg. The only keg I have because I'm not allowed alcohol anymore. But like it's the other side of it as well. I find that while you use posts on your social media and like your story, it's about the people. It's about the realness of it. It's not about like, oh look, this person lost all this weight. That's great. Are they going to keep it off though? That's you've set up and fostered this journey for people to like find what they need and find what works for them. Because I remember when you'd given me all of my stuff when I first started with Jelen, like you really went in depth and were like, okay, what do you need? And like at the time, obviously, like, I was an active addiction. So it was a little bit different. Obviously, I wasn't completely honest with you, and I was like, there was times you're like, "And did you drink it this weekend?" I'm like, "No, I was probably bananas replying to you. Let's be honest." But like even with the diet plan and all, like I made you aware like that I struggled with eating and stuff like that, and I'd overeat or undereat because like when I first went to you, I was like 16, 17 stone at the time because I'd been through a very abusive relationship and stuff like that, and I had put the weight on, so I didn't have a healthy relationship. And like that's the other side of it, as a you're very personable about what you do, and you make sure like, okay, so like they're trying to do this, but is it for the right reasons? Are they trying to lose weight because they want to look better? No, you make sure that like the person is in a good space, and then that inherently gives them the better mental health space to like want to go there.
I think it's crazy that we all have this all or nothing mentality. Myself, like I am brutal for it, but it's like, oh well, I already had that burger today. That burger that probably was 100% in necessary, right, as a lunch or a dinner.
Hmm.
but because it's deemed a bad food, oh well, I need to have 75 packets of crisps and 14 burger. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we just go all in then, and it's done. But if you sit back and are a little bit kinder to yourself, and you're like, okay, well, I was hungry and I needed to eat. Now I've eaten it, and then you can move on from that. Now it's different now because I've done the counseling, read the books, try to figure my shit out, and like, but I think 9 out of 10, I say 9 out of 10 a lot. 90% of people
Hmm.
are struggling with some form of restriction or overeating. And if we were, like, there's so much choice out there. Instagram is filled with food videos
Hmm.
and all these different things where you're like, okay, well, I need to try that, and I need to try that, and I need to try that. And then we sit and we eat our dinner while we scroll through our phones. So we have no idea what we've just eaten. And then we look up from it and it's all gone. So we didn't enjoy anything of it. And so then we're like, okay, well, I need to eat something else because I didn't even feel that. Like, and that's what everyone, because everyone's so busy and so consumed by their phones, and like, and everyone is not, it's not like, it's not something that's going to be easily fixed for people. But what we're trying to do in Rebel Fitness is not push calories all the time. Like, a lot of people end up with an eating, like how I ended up doing in this position was I did a photo shoot and restricted massively for that weekend, and then I couldn't regulate my eating afterwards. So I would just, I like, I didn't have a full button anymore.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, well, I need everything because I'd restricted so badly. And then I would manage my emotions by eating. And like, the one thing, and I was so embarrassed because I was a personal trainer. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gaining weight and I'm doing this and I'm eating all around me and I can't control it. And I didn't have control over my, what I, at least I thought I didn't have control over my
Yeah.
thoughts. Obviously, I do. Um, it's like this big spiral. And everyone, if they just sit back and can kind of see those little patterns, like, we don't need we don't need to be a size zero, or, and we're not really meant to be. Do you know, like, women especially, like, we're meant to have a little bit of a pouch.
Hmm.
Do you know what I
The
mean? Like,
fupa is
there's,
meant to be there. It's literally fatter
yeah,
upper penile area. It's literally meant to protect your womb. And like I hear so
exactly.
many
Like,
girls being like, "Oh, I want to get rid of my fupa." I'm like, it's literally, it's genetically meant to be there.
I look back now at pictures of myself when I was at my leanest, and I'm like, I hated how I looked then. I would sit there and I would pull apart every single picture or video. I didn't want anything posted about me. I had like serious, and then I look at my clients and I'm like, I would never even consider those thoughts about them.
But you will for
Like,
yourself.
yeah, like, they are gorgeous and what they achieve is actually next level. And whether or not they lose weight or gain it, I don't care. Like, if that's their goal, I'll try and help them get to it. But like, if you can come in, like, if you can walk from your car with the shopping
Hmm.
and you're not like dead after it, that's a massive, like, it's functional fitness is what we should be worried about.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to run a marathon if that's not what we want to do, but we do need to be able to move. And I think that's what Rebel Fitness is about. I think it's like a less, not, no, not even hardcore. Like, our workouts are hard,
Oh,
but
they
it's
are.
a less pressure on being like Iron Man.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. I think the industry and people in it and just fitness in general is very much like there's no in between. Like if you want to be a PT and you want to be that model, go do the hardcore fitness. But there is not a fitness. The industry isn't set out for people who just want to get healthy. And as you said, like develop that understanding that food is there to fuel you and you should care. Like I remember that, Ellen. Like I remember just cooking food, just to eat and then just not be looking at it because I've always loved food. But like I've had issues where I overate, and when I was younger, I would have like kind of starved myself and stuff like that. Like we've previously spoken about this when I was like doing PT originally with you. Like that's the other side of it. it was so normalized as well in our upbringing, not like by our parents, but just how we grew up and in the time frame we did because we're both old. Um, sorry for calling you old, Dylan, but we are.
I am.
We
That's
grew up
okay.
in the 90s, like like heroin chic and like Jai Zero was a thing. Like it's so popularized in social media, in the regular media and stuff like that. That like it's either you're this or you're that. No, there is a gray area. There's a middle ground. Let's just be healthy. Like I'm the
Yeah.
healthiest I've ever been, and I've got weight on me. But
Yeah.
like I'm sober now. I can go up and down my stairs. I can bring my dog for a walk. Do I want to be like ripped? No, because like I like burgers and pizza. But I would love to like have a bit more muscle mass on me, and that like that's a normal way to look at it. But I know
Yeah.
like you, I have the issues with like well I'm going to go all the way now with this, and then I'm going to look like this, and I'm like yeah well that's not attainable, or also it's not worth doing that. But that's the other side of it as well. Like it really shows from like what you show on social media and what I've seen and heard from people, obviously. And I hope people listening to this, like down at home or anyone, like to like even reach out. Like, do you do online services or anything like that in regards to giving
Yeah,
plans and
so we
stuff?
yeah, we have all of that now. We have an online service which you can pay for monthly, so it's a little bit cheaper,
Mm,
and you'll get your workouts. You can use our gym or you can use your any other gym. It's designed that way, and we plan them around you. If you send us a video of the gym that you're in,
hmm.
we will plan your workouts based on the equipment that you have there. Um, which I don't know if a lot of other places do,
No, I've
but
never
like
heard of that. It's extremely
yeah.
smart.
Yeah, it's just because like there's no point in me planning out a whole workout for you and you're paying a membership somewhere and then you have to be like, oh, well, I can't do this or this or this.
Like
Um,
that's the as I said earlier, like that's the kind of personalization that you do that a lot of other places don't. And it's as you said, it's very easy to do. Once you've done it
yeah,
once, you can just be like, okay, well, like do it this way.
yeah, no, but we do. We have online programs and then we have our in-person programs. We have open gym. We have classes. We have personal training. We have it all. We're your one-stop shop.
That is it,
We
Ellen. You are.
also do sports massage now too. So the thing that I am most grateful for with Rebel Fitness is the fact that I've been able to um hire my family.
Hmm.
So my little sister is currently training to be a personal trainer,
Nice
and
one.
she works in Rebel Fitness. And my other sister is doing sports massage at the moment, and so she can offer services through there as well. So like that's really really cool. I and my mom comes in and works open gym for us sometimes. Larry teaches classes as well, so it's very much like a tight knit little cult, I guess.
A good cult.
And like I love that it's all of them because not only like no one cares about your business like you do,
Hmm.
except for the people that are cheering you on around who have seen you go through day zero to there and they have so it's really really cool that we can offer those services and that they're into the things that I'm into or that they want to be a part of Rebel Fitness. Like that's I think that's the biggest compliment of all.
No, most definitely. And like the fact that as well that you can employ your family. That's like especially like the two of us coming from our backgrounds and like and where we're from and like that. I don't think it's something either of us would have ever thought that we'd be able to like help our families out. Like with my job at the moment, I'm able to help my parents out and my brother and stuff. And like you're running your own business and you're employing your family, like Ellen. Like
I
I
know, but
remember. Oh yeah,
I make them earn every cent
you
of
have to. Well, look, we
it.
worked in the
I
hospitality
know they work
industry for long
hard.
enough. We are owed our dues.
I know it is really cool having them there, and it's savage, especially with Aoife, like because she's a young mum and she's able to juggle like working there and being a young mum
Hmm.
doing all those things, and like Tara's got three kids to consider while doing so. Like it's impressive what they do every day, and it's cool that then we can kind of fit around them
Hmm.
because obviously like if Aoife's baby is sick then I can go, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
so it's cool that way, so it works for both parties, and then if I ever have kids they'll just have to cover me if I
It's
ever
like
need it,
I did
you know?
all this for you, but the other side of it as well, you're empowering your sisters, and that's the other side of it as well. Like the gym is obviously unisex; it's for everyone, but also I love how empowering you are to women because like you have people in there from like 20, 16 up to like I'm not gonna like name an age, but like you have quite a vast range of people who come to the gym as well. Like you've made it so comfortable for people that they might not want to go to a gym. Like my mom doesn't want to go to a gym because she's like, oh, everyone's gonna think I'm fat. But like you were able to work with her in regards to doing the at home stuff. But like the fact that you have and you like it's on the social media, you can see like people are happy to be in the gym and like it's of all age ranges because a lot of the places are like just young people or
Well,
older people.
they empower me, like that they, like us, or like Tara, like what she can do, what, like there's some mums that come into that gym, and not just mums but just like that are running their own business as well, and they've grown up kids, or like, you know, and they're rocking in to do their workouts,
Hmm.
and like what they do is unbelievable, and then it gives me the push to be like, okay, well, I can work this around them, or I can do that. Like it's I think if you surround yourself with amazing people, then you'll be amazing too. And that's why I am surrounded by really, really amazing people.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to like to see that it's going so well. We have a couple of compliment words, a compliment that have happened this year. I can't speak. Don't work an 8 hour shift and record a podcast is what I'll tell you, people. So you were nominated in 2023 for a small business award in Gory, which I think is an
You are.
amazing achievement. Did you go to the event? What was that like? Seeing all the other businesses?
We did. We actually had a table at the event, which was
Oh.
right crack. Some of my friends went, some of my family went. It was really, really cool. We were like the second last award of the night. And so that was a bit of like, oh god, can we just be done with this already? But no, it was really, really cool. And Wizzy Internet won it.
Hmm.
So like can't really compete with the internet.
Yeah, no, that one's a
But
bit impossible.
it was super great to be nominated for it, like, because it is based on like what people nominate for you.
Yeah.
So the fact that like we were shortlisted for that is a massive achievement. Like that's really, really cool.
No, of course. And in
I'm
your
really
first
grateful
year
for
of being in your premises as well, Ellen, like obviously you were doing everything
that.
mobile before. Like that's a huge achievement. I know companies that have been from home, like obviously they're not a gym or anything like that, but have been in business for 25 years and have now only started getting small business awards. You are 1 year into your premises and 3 years in like being open. That's fucking amazing. Like, and
Yeah.
it's not about winning. You're nominated. You've got your name out there now. People know
Oh,
your
100%.
business.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to get
No, it
nominated
is.
in Gory. I remember that
No, it
town.
was really cool. It was really cool.
And
We just got picked for so there's a new wellness app launching
hmm.
called active.ie, and they picked us to be one of three gyms that they're launching it with. So we we get we're like a brand ambassador, I guess,
Hmm.
for, which sounds super fancy, for a wellness app, and based on like the steps that my clients get in the week, they get like discounts off their food shopping or Fitbits, or, you know, like boots or things like that. So like it's basically trying to get you moving, but your reward is like money off something, or you earn coins that you can spend in different shops and things like that. So like it's savage that we were picked. Like I think myself, the stables and curves were picked. So like that's savage.
No, that is amazing. Like, and just because obviously you've mentioned Curves as well, like Curves has been in Gory for a very, very long time, Helen. You've, as I said, I've only been in your premises 1 year, and you've been picked for that. I've only heard of the stables from you today. I'm sure it's been around for donkey's years because I left home 7 years ago. But like that is amazing. That like obviously what they're trying to do there, from like if I was to go to a business point of it, they're trying to monetize people getting up and doing something, which is an amazing
Yeah.
thing. Because like you might have someone at home that maybe hasn't joined your gym or hasn't reached out to you, but they're like, oh, I seen that ad. Ellen's gym is on that Rebel Fitness, and they
Yeah.
were like, oh, I get stuff off in pets for this. Like,
Yeah.
and it's good. It's a smart business move. Whoever opened up that app, smart. Also smart for picking Rebel Fitness. But like, yeah, no, that's an amazing thing to be a part of. And like, definitely, obviously, make sure that people push that and make sure you're getting your bit from it as well. And I'll make sure that contract's a good one. No, but look, it's been amazing, obviously, chatting to you in regards to the business and itself. Obviously, you're what's happened over the last 3 years, how it's grown from, like, something this small, like, kind of dream that you had, and we're like, "Oh, okay, I've got the time now, and look what you've turned it into," like, I just wanna say I'm, like, utmostly so proud of you for doing it, um, because, like, it's fucking amazing, and you're helping so many people. At the end of the day, I know you hate compliments, and so do I. I think it's a family thing, but, like, you're doing something good, girl, and I fucking love it. I'm so proud of you for it.
Thank
Um,
you.
just, like, before we do, kind of, wrap up, is there anything that you've kind of seen over your journey, that you would kind of be your most triumphant success, or significant achievement? Now that can be personal or business wise.
So I think as a personal achievement, um, I think they all kind of tie into one. I think that first off, having the courage to set up a business,
Hmm.
to even go on social media when you're the way I am, which is allergic. um, but like I was a super shy person, who wouldn't say boo to my shadow, and then I wasn't because I couldn't be. Like if I walk into a bar today, like I'm probably not going to say a whole lot unless I really know the people there.
Yeah.
But if I walk into the gym, I am chatting to everyone. I know everyone's everything. I'm like, okay, we'll do this and this, and I think that's my biggest achievement is how much I've grown as a person. I think going through an eating disorder and coming out the other end of it is a massive achievement. I think I don't know. I think being able to help other people achieve their goals is probably my favorite thing. Because there's no there's no other high like that. Like when they hit their goal and they're like, look what I just did. Like you've never met a person prouder, you know? So I think that would be it. I would say helping them achieve their goals is my biggest achievement.
Well, that's amazing. And look at you with your professional answers.
I know.
Making me feel emotions, Ellen. This is rude. I nearly cried. I didn't because I don't have tears anymore. Um, no, but look, I want to thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us.
Thanks for asking. I don't know who would want to listen to this, but
And
thank you.
excuse me, all the people that go to your gym will, and we'll be promoting it all over social media. But like, yeah, no, I want to, as I said, Rebel Fitness's links will be down below in the description, and obviously you can hit them up. Ellen, you had said that you're starting off a challenge soon. Is that correct?
We are on Tuesday. We will have a new 12-week challenge starting. All of our new timetable is up on our Legit Fit app, which you can find on all app stores. Rebel Fitness Booking is what you need to look for, and we all of our workouts are set. Everything's done. We're just waiting to start with it, and I love a new challenge.
Yeah,
There'll be
no, you
step
love them
goals.
challenges. It's a bit
Oh,
shit. I remember doing it.
yeah.
Everyone's like, "Come on, you can do this." I'm like, "No, I'm sweating so much I can't see."
But yeah, no, if anyone is thinking or considering joining us, oh, please get in touch because we will welcome you with open arms, and then I will torture you for all your money.
Yep. Yeah, like you are paying Rebel Fitness and Ellen, my cousin,
Yeah,
to torture you.
yeah, 100%, and I love it.
It's brilliant.
I love it.
Perfect. Look, thanks for listening, guys, and check back in next week for the following podcast. If you want to find Ellen, as I said, all links will be in the description of the show notes, and the podcast is available on all podcast services. But thanks, Ellen, for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me.